Hello and welcome to the grand finals of the LPL. Top Esports versus JDG. Going in a little bit blind with this one. Seen a little bit of Top Esports play before, but haven't done too much research on JDG, which maybe should have done, but thought I'd just go for a little practice cast. Already we see a few mage bans coming out from the red side, although it is sometimes popular to pick the Syndra early in regions that I normally watch, such as LEC. Looks like generally red side goes for the ban of that. Don't seem willing to first pick that, and they've gone for the very strong Ornn first pickup. So just making sure that there's not too many high priority picks to take off the board after that. Top Esports drafting in the flex of the set. Could go support, mid, jungle, top. Pretty much the flexiest pick you can get right now. Happy to walk into any lane and just does pretty well anyway, depending on the matchup. We've seen the mid matchups already coming out. Lissandra picked up first. No, sorry, who had first pick? Red side had first pick. So the Ornn and Misfortune were picked. The Ornn was picked. Okay, so yeah, so the LeBlanc coming out first, and Lissandra coming out as an answer to that. Just something to lock him up, and with an aggressive jungler, maybe not the set. They might be pushing the set towards the top lane if this is the case, and you sort of want a defensive support with the Aphelios, so they're just removing some of the catch supports now, such as Nautilus, and we'll probably see another catch support get taken off the board here if they're targeting that pool. Morgana can be used for that, and very good into the set ultimate, the Sandra ultimate, just to keep everyone out of that hard CC. So taking that off the board, and you're probably another defensive support taken off the board here from JDG if they keep trending towards this, just making sure the Aphelios can't stay too safe. They want to be able to get that Call of the Forge God in, or the assassination from Yagao onto the Aphelios. And not your protect support, there's still things such as the Tahm Kench, which we have seen a little bit of. Thresh here with the lantern being hovered, definitely something that could keep him out of harm's way. And it looks like they are going to lock that in. We'll see here the support, still something aggressive, hopefully here with the Misfortune. Just something that can pressure on and do a bit of damage to Aphelios in, well, any stage of the game. He's always a mobile if you can remove his flash. And hopefully they'll have enough presence to do that. As long as the Lissandra can lock up the LeBlanc, though, this should be pretty good for Top Esports so far. Maybe lacking a little bit of disengage if they're just going to get run at by the Ornn and this Olaf being hovered. That would be rather nice to run through all the CC, and I think that's a really good lock in here. Just going to completely ignore the Lissandra, the set, the Thresh as he runs forwards. Jarvan can be seen as a counter to that. You put down the Cataclysm on him and can't move back, but the Lee Sin, an interesting choice. Maybe going to try and take some early trades there, although I wouldn't say that they necessarily have the better early 2v2 from mid-jungle. I think the Olaf and LeBlanc very strong early. And yeah, we'll just see the Misfortune Yuumi getting picked up. And giving them a bit of sustain in this bot lane. Not that there's any poke really, but it does have quite a nice catch with the movement speed of Misfortune. Just running forwards, getting the slow from the Yuumi Q, and then the ultimate coming out. Once 3 procs are down, you'll get snared up and won't be able to run out of the Misfortune ultimate. Just got to make sure they combo that properly when both the ultimates are up. And here we go, into game 1 of this best of 5. Generally, we'll be looking at the Lee Sin to try and make, well, Lee Sin and Olaf both very aggressive early game junglers. I'd say the team fight here is actually better. In my opinion, JDG have won this draft. Just a really nice comp, and the Olaf coming out at the end just kind of nullifies all of the CC that Top Esports had drafted. Looks like we'll be waiting a moment before they actually go into game. A little bit of a pause come out. So, Lissandra really nice into the Blanc. When she W's in, you can literally just put down that ultimate, the Glacial Tomb, is it? Can't remember. Or Glacial something. Sejuani Ultimate's Glacial Prism. Yeah, it's got to be Glacial Tomb, I think. I'll go with that. I'm shouting the wrong thing in team fights. We'll see. Hopefully the Thresh banking on that one to be enough to keep the Aphelios safe from Olaf and Ornn running forwards. And layered there with the Misfortune Ultimate. Aphelios generally having issues with areas being blocked off, so Call of the Forge God and the Bullet Time from Misfortune, both going to be issues for him. As long as the Thresh has Lantern up, though, should be enough to keep him safe and pull him out. And here we go into the game. And in a moment we'll see both of the teams just setting up across the map. Just early wards put down. You might see, if they're looking for something aggressive in the first few levels, that one of these junglers will drop their ward and just back off for a sweeper, which actually looks like Kanavi has picked up the sweeper straight away, so not even wanting the value of that first ward. That could make it a little bit dangerous for him. Karsa might look for the invade if he thinks he's not spotted, as he has seen, I think they got into vision range of each other on that top side. And looks like Karsa's passing to bot side because he's seen the Olaf on top side, and they might just rotate away for each other, or they'll meet in the jungle somewhere. We'll see whether Karsa wants to look for the aggressive early game. You see the runes here on the bottom. Thresh opting for the Guardian rather than Aftershock. Everything else relatively standard, I think. You'll normally see, yeah, the rest of those looking pretty standard. Lissandra going for the defensive setup of the Aftershock. And 369 already trading onto Zoom in the top lane. Just pushing him away from the wave, but I don't think there'll be too much of an advantage shown there just yet. Set obviously has the extra movement speed from his abilities and can run down that Ornn in the first couple of levels, but Ornn definitely the king of top lane at the moment and should be able to hold on. And once he's built a couple of items in that top lane, you'll have to see him buy the potions, the refillable potions first, and then buy the Doran's shield, but looks like he's gone straight into the Doran's shield. Ooh, there's quite a lot of damage coming out onto Zoom. He hits level 2 and he'll be just fine. Just trading there with the Volcanic Rupture back onto him. Kanavi spotted on that ward on the top side, pops the sweeper late, so thinks he's not seen, but the deep ward on the river, really nice there from 369. And Karsa will be pathing up towards this. Has already cleared his full bot side, so there is going to be... Ooh, he's walked up after seeing him, knowing he's on that top side and has to blow the flash. Bit of a greedy play there from 369. Maybe thought Karsa was going to be coming up earlier, but saw him on the ward and just didn't respect it. Maybe thought he'd recalled in the bush, but going to be enough to get the flash. And you'd like to see Kanavi return up there in the near future. Karsa now looking towards top side, although the wave now pushing out for Zoom, so he might be in a dangerous spot here. Not spotted, Karsa. He's probably gonna go forwards as 369 walks forwards. The Sonic Wave misses, and a lovely Bellows Breath to stop the grab there from 369. We'll just get him out safely. Nice little CS lead, but that'll be equalised in this large wave. Karsa now picking up the topside scuttle, and we've got actually a really big lead in bottom lane. I can't see how big the wave is on the minimap, but a huge lead so far for Jackie Love and Kui. I don't know how to say that. Anyway, Loken and Mao having a bit of a bad time of this. Karsa now on the invade, putting down the vision, and might look back to the top lane, although no flash blown from Zoom in the previous gank, so should be able to escape that one, you'd like to think, especially without the flash on 369. Hopefully won't have the claps there. Some really nice CSing there from Yagao. Although still struggling a little bit with the shove of this Lissandra. Definitely has the wave clear advantage, although running out of mana a bit there on Knight, so he'll have to go for the recall. We'll have to see whether he goes into the Catalyst for Rod of Ages or whether he wants to pick up something more aggressive. Maybe going for a bit less sustain and more of the one-shot potential. Looks like he's going to go towards... Ooh, close there. They're looking for Loken, but not quite finding any of the skill shots onto him. As I was saying, yeah, Knight looking to go towards the Proto Belt. So just shoving it in. Looks like he's just going to go for the wave clear. Might have some mana issues while he's got just that item, but should definitely have the wave clear advantage. And Yagao are having just a hard time here, farming under turret. Struggling a little bit with that, and struggling with his health pool, although both mid laners have based now, so he's filled up his refillable pots again, or the corrupting potion, I should say. And now Karsa just looking to take out the Scuttle Crab. Vision control heavily in the side of top esports in the bot river, and quite a little gold lead coming out now. Yagao just constantly being pushed in, and this is allowing Karsa to just have free roam over the river, really. The top lane for Zoom looks like the only place that they've got real priority at the moment, and doesn't look like Kanavi wanted to go back up there. Is this flash still down? But it looks like he's prioritising the dragon harder. Is he just going to blind jump over here? He sees that it's being hit. It's not in the pit. And is he going to look? They're bringing in the teleport, but it's too late. Castle just grabs the dragon and they leave. And that feels bad for Zoom. 369 just gets to teleport back to top lane. This is going to grant him quite a large CS lead. He's just freezing the wave up here. This is awful for Zoom. You'd think he'd have to go back up there and get that bounced off the turret, but 369 having a great time up there. Just says, Caster says, yeah, we got this dragon. We don't need you. So just teleport back to top lane. Grab your wave, you know. Have a good time. And 369 says, yes, please. Enjoying that one. Gaining a CS lead there as well now. So, although the CS lead has been closed in bot lane, there's still a small lead for every member on top esports. Maybe they just conceded a little bit of that bot lane for the dragon pressure. The gold about 700, 600, 700-ish. As we go towards the 10-minute mark. What we see him picked up here. Both the AD carries going for relatively standard crit builds, as you see from both of these. Misfortune can sometimes go for the lethality, but generally not a good idea. Blue buff just being passed off to Yagao here from Kanavi. Says he doesn't need that one anymore. And Knight just having the push here. He's got about a 15 CS lead. After this wave gets picked up, it'll be closer to 10. All waves just being shoved in, apart from in this top lane, and the flash is back up now for 369, so you think Kanavi's missed his opportunity. After that little fumble from 369 early, he's just been able to freeze that wave for hours, and it's causing some real issues for this JDG team. Now, the bot lane rotations have come out early from top esports, and looks like they're going to get this Herald for free. Will JDG want to come up? They might have left it too late. Again, it's going low. Yagao jumps in, gets the little proc onto Knight, uses the claw to get away, and the smite comes out from Castle. They grab the fight, but the call of the Forge God now. Zoom looking to engage, and Knight's gone low. He's locked up. He has still got that Lissandra ultimate. Pops it now, healing back up there, but I think it'll be in a bad spot. The kick from Castle actually cancels the knock-up from Zoom. Set jumping, pulling Knight back, and Kanavi back into the team, and top esports win the fight and get the Herald. And that feels pretty bad. Just Casa putting on a clinic here, making his presence known across the map, picking up the objectives of this Infernal Drake and the Herald. And that should be, once they drop that, a good chunk going into the pockets of top esports. Ooh, the top lane now an issue as well, with about a 20-25 CS lead for 369 at the moment. And ooh, Zoom just has to give up that wave. He builds an item actually and feels like he can come back now that he's got that health from the Barmy's Cinder. And does just come up to push out that wave, but it's still about 20 CS lead after all that freeze. And Yeah, I'm having real issues seeing why JDG didn't go to that top lane and just at least help him break the freeze, even if he didn't want to gank the set again. It just seems like it's put him so far behind. And he hasn't really done a lot anywhere else. Is tried his best to farm up, but the Lee Sin ahead in that stage as well. Now, for the late game, the Yuumi Olaf combo is looking good for them. And as I said, it does look like they have a few more answers to top esports comp. With the assassination of Yagao on the back line, if Kwikwi isn't in place to stop that, it's going to become an issue for Jackie Love, but you have to expect Jackie Love probably going to be positioning well enough to not die to that. Maybe needs a defensive item in there, but you'd think as long as Knight and Kwikwi are near enough to him, he's going to have enough protection, and might be a hard time for Yagao. The Ornn always a factor to think about in the late game, but I'm not sure whether it'll get there at this point. The Lee Sin, of course, are having a huge impact so far. And they're just building themselves win conditions. They've got about a 2k gold lead now. Extended that pretty well from the first Dragonplay, where it was only about 700. So a fast extension of the gold. And Knight just trading on here. Caster close enough to help him. Lands the Sonic Wave. Will he take the Resonating Strike? He won't. Just backs off there. Takes the damage trade. And now we see a teleport from Knight here coming. Sorry, a teleport from Knight here coming to the top lane. Looks like they'll be trying to nullify this top lane, getting 369, and he pulls him out of his own ultimate. That's looking bad. Just no answer there from Zoom. It doesn't really block much with the Bellows Breath, but looks like they will trade it for the Dragon. And that's what you like to see, these cross-map plays as they dedicate the teleport, and Castle was on the top side as well. So at least something picked up here for the JDG team. Doesn't look like it'll be much more than that though, and 2 plates gone now in top. Just want to see where they'll drop that Herald. It is running out soon. Looks like they might try and take it and break the top lane with it. Castle just trying to get as much distance down the lane before he drops that. And they haven't got the teleports dedicate up there anymore. This bot lane been pretty quiet. Don't think anything's really going to happen here, even with the Olaf. They might look for the dive, but it's a very small wave, and yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Kanavi going to back off there. Although with Kanavi on the bottom side, you'd like to see Caster actually move in here with 369, push in this wave, and grab up that tower. Blue buff steal coming in, with the Lee Sin revealing on the top side, but pretty inconsequential when you think about the gold of first tower and those last 3 plates going down. 369 now, a very rich boy. And blue buff trade it'll be in the end, seeing as both the buffs spawn at the same time and top esports in place to take that. Let's see if they can grab another tower off this bot lane for JDG, trading onto that tower, but taking a long time to take it as they were still all the plates up. They've only got down to 3 so far, and you'd like to see someone respond to that, because plates are going to now start dropping in the mid lane for JDG, and the mid tower you'd like to think more important than the bot tower, and it looks like they will just back off now in the bot lane. They're not hitting the turret. Yeah, just the recall was coming through, just the Yuumi icon covering the recall on the minimap. Or at least in the quality that I've got it. So, Yagao now looking onto Jackie Love, just basically doing no damage with the Guardian of Kwikwi there, even letting him take a turret shot, and he just isn't too bothered. He's got the overheal in those runes, and yeah, pretty happy just sitting there taking the chunks and tapping away at the tower. All summoners up on both sides apart from the teleport of Knight, but I would imagine Yagao gonna struggle to match him in a side lane at the moment. We'd like to see 369 coming down here. He's just gonna push this in, and although he's got a little bit of magic resist here as well, so I don't think Yagao going to be able to do anything to him. The set, not the greatest pick at locking down the LeBlanc, but he won't have too much of a hard time with the amount of sustain he's got in that lane with the Blade of the Ruin King coming out, and he should be able to do a lot of damage if he does manage to lock him up. maybe grabs him with the ulti, puts him back to where his where the LeBlanc W started, and there'll be no escape for Yagao if he doesn't have the ultimate ready to go with that distortion. Karsa picking up his second Rift Herald now. Both of these taken quite early, but plates will obviously be down for the second one. Not really anyway, you can get that one early enough to take plates with it. See where they use this. You'd like to see them use it to break the mid, probably. Just give them a bit more control over the map, set up for this next dragon. Maybe they'll save it until the dragon spawns so they can create that pressure in the mid lane as they move over and clear out vision. See Knight backing away here, should swap with 369 if they want to play around the dragon. He'll be moving to the bot side now to match Yagao. And yeah, 369 with the teleport up wants to go to that top lane so he can come down and play around the dragon after creating some pressure in the top lane. Although turrets, only the inhib one left in the top lane, so you wouldn't think he'll do much, and he has decided that he'll go up there and clear it anyway. Thought he was coming towards the mid lane for a moment there, and they were going to look for the Herald early, but looks like they will hold it off until they're ready to go for the dragon. A nice set of guns here for Jackie Love as well. Just using the flamethrower to push out the wave. And yeah, it looks like they'll drop the Herald now. Still around 40 seconds to dragon, so maybe not the optimal timing that they wanted. And Kanavi's here right on time. They will have to give up this first tower. There's no way to kill the Herald before that charges, and it just one-shots the tower, but they won't get any more with that. A little bit of mid-pressure, but still 20 seconds till the dragon spawns, and that means Jackie Love will have to sit here clearing out another wave. Caster just looking for the Sonic Wave, but quickly around to get him out. Safeguard used, not the Lantern yet, probably saving that one for Jackie, just in case he gets caught up. But ooh, Yagao now looking for the burst onto Caster. Chunks him right out, and that might mean that they can't go for this dragon. He's got nowhere to sustain round here. Yagao potentially still looking for him. He does get the base off, but that means he's not here for the dragon, and that is just going to give it over to JDG. Just maybe a little bit of a greedy contest there from Casa, just looking at the dragon, looking at the pink ward clear, but didn't really have the right to do it, with Yagao just sitting over that wall and waiting for him. So, JDG looking into this. We did say they probably have the late game advantage, although Olaf normally falls off, he combos really nicely with that Yuumi. The Ornn always great into the late game, and the presence of the Misfortune and with her bullet time and the Ornn Call of the Forged God is going to be pretty huge for team fights. So if this lead doesn't continue to grow too much, it's saying that it is now at 4k, and looking at a bit dicey for them. If they can hold this off, they might have a chance to come back into this with Casa falling off, and I think Casa will just be a kick bot eventually. Maybe he hasn't really got a target for it though. He can kick away Zoom, but both the Ornn and the Olaf have that unstoppable at some part of their kit. So yeah, the Bella's Breath and the Ragnarok just really going to make it hard for him to get the right timing to kick away one of those frontline characters that are going to be running at his AD carry. Also a little bit of D-synergy between Casa and Knight. The Lee Sin wants to kick someone away, whilst Knight, when they engage, wants to lock down the LeBlanc. So we'll have to make sure they don't go onto the same person with that and accidentally save Yagao or anything, but I'm sure they're coordinated enough to do that one correctly. Just the standing turrets going down in the bot lane now. Tier 1's all still up for top esports, but it looks like they'll be chipping down this bot turret. So a lot of people revealed here. Call of the Forge is just going to be used to clear out the wave, and JDG dedicating 3 people towards the top side to knock down this outer turret. And that'll be a little bit of gold back to them, as long as Zoom can stay safe in the bot lane. 369 just waiting to pick up this wave. Doesn't look like they're going for any aggression. Nothing really on the map to take here apart from towers, so both teams just looking to trade those over, and they will take the second tier, which you think has to be in top esports' favour. Just looking towards the next Dragon now, really. Although neither of them... It will bring JDG to sole point if they manage to get this one, so important for them. Top Esports probably going to have to close out the game before the 4th Dragon taken for them, even if they got this one. So you maybe want to see them trade it for a more important objective. If they can get another tower down, if they can break into the base, if JDG commit too many people to the Dragon, that might be the option they go for. They're going to have to look for something relatively soon. Although you have to feel 369 maybe outscales on the split push, but I think JDG have enough answers to him. You can see Loken just starting to pick up the jungle now. They want to get as much gold onto him as possible. Seems like Jackie and Loken just are going to be clearing waves in the mid lane, although Loken's significantly more pushed up without the first tower there. Going to be finding that a little bit scary, but Yagao comes over to join him, so nothing can be collapsed onto that. And Caster and Jackie Love have actually started up the Baron. Is this out of vision? This is a bit sneaky, but it looks like Kanavi can sense something. JDG running in, pops the Ragnarok, chasing down. Here comes the Yuumi ultimate. It's locked down Knight. He uses the ultimate to buy some time, and Top Esports should have time to come around here and look for it. The kick coming out into the hook. Loken's caught. It pops the QSS, and it looks like he'll be fine here. Casa drops, and this has gone horribly for Top Esports so far. They might be able to trade one. No, Yagao still looking for Knight on the top side. The Lantern coming out to save him, and that will just be a 1-0, but Top Esports attempt to go for the Baron, realising that they need to do something soon, gets punished. And, ooh, a flash forwards there. Actually manages to get him. Maybe a little bit of greed. The 1-for-1 trade there. Both the AD carries going down underneath the second tier turret, but 369 managing to trade it off there. The teleport back in for Knight, just making sure they've got enough presence over Baron, and looking like they're going to go for this mid-pressure. Caster will be back up in time for the Dragon, although the bot lane of Jackie Love won't be there quite in time, but Loken also not going to be around. So this is a really nice fight here. The Ragnarok just used so Knight can't turn onto him and lock him up. The kick, very nice into the hook from Kui. Just a really nice combo to try and lock him up. But you can see it wasn't the QSS even, it was the cleanse just on Loken. So you have to know he's going to get out of that one once the hook lands, and maybe not enough committed for him, but it does look like the Dragon goes down in favour of Top Esports, and that just brings it to 2-2. It'll delay the soul a bit for JDG, but you have to be thinking about this early game and what more they can do. Castle looked really strong in the early, but a lot of the kills have been picked up onto 369. Might have to start looking for the split push soon rather than just grouping for objectives like the Baron. No teleports up currently, apart from that of Yagao though, so if he looks for it, it could open a window for JDG to go for Baron. Enough vision control on both sides here that neither of them can start up the Baron without being spotted. Only 3 kills to 3, and this gold lead still sticking at 4,000, so you'd like to think JDG may be coming back in this one, feeling a bit more confident as it gets later in the stages of the game about their comp and what they can do with the area control that they have. The Call of the Forge God and the Bullet Time just layering on top of each other with Yuumi's ultimate just seems a lot for Top Esports to deal with. Knight not minding it too much, just going to be using the ultimate on himself, but the others all having issues with that. Jackie Love going to find it hard to reposition it unless Kuikui's in exactly the right place. Not really sure what Castle's looking for on the top side here. 369 will go down to match, so no chance that Top Esports are going to be looking for the Baron anytime soon. They're going to need to wait for his teleport. You'd like to think he'd be a little bit more confident in this matchup, but he has only really built armour outside of those Merc Treads. Knight just escaping again over the wall from Kanavi with his claw. No CC on that Olaf. When he's not got the Yuumi on top of him, he did then, but they're not going to waste the ultimate just for Knight when he can escape that easily anyway and survive for a long time. And the poke under the turret here for Yagao, just destroying Knight's health bar. He's going to have to go back to base. No teleport on him, so they might look towards at least some vision control here. You can see them dedicating actually 3 people to bot side. Zoom just going to move down and answer the split push from 369. He's going to base and start running towards the Baron. They're just going to need to check in there and make sure that it's not being done by JDG, although they do now see the reveal on bot side from Zoom. Excuse me, just grabbing a drink. Throat getting a little bit dry. So, Knight now pushing up the top lane. Still no teleports up. Another 30 or 40 seconds on 369's teleport. A bit longer on Knight's, almost double that. And you see Zoom's coming up about the same time as 369, so he should be able to match the bot lane split push. Potentially 369 able to kill him if that trade goes on for a really long time, but you'd think that the Ornn can hold him off for now at least. Black Cleaver in there to shred his armor, and the Bork Blade of the Ruined King buffs coming out a few patches ago will give him the trading advantage in that lane. No second to turret. Looks like they're going at it. He's going to try and pull him in. The Unstoppable from Bellow's Breath still holding him there, and 369 using the ultimate. The ultimate coming out of Knight as well. The Glacial Prism just holding him down. It looks like Zoom will go down here. They've committed the teleport as well. No ultimate to try and help Knight survive. And he's now going to go down. Zoom still alive with the Yuumi heals coming through. And this has turned awfully for top esports. Just looking for things where they can. But, ooh, Ragnarok popped from Kanavi here. Just running at the backline of top esports. And yeah, that'll be the end of that fight. Not able to chase for anymore. The Sonic Wave lands, but Carcer definitely not going to be looking for that one. Would get blown up straight away if he jumped in there. Loken still with the flash as well, so would have been able to escape the follow-up after he landed the first initial damage. Or potentially bring him further in so he couldn't escape again with the Warthog after, or Safeguard. Carcer now using Sonic Wave and Safeguard to try and escape the Olaf, and Jackie Love just popping down the turret to dissuade them walking into the mid lane. Do still have enough wave clear, but you can see the gold lead now decreased to about 2k, and definitely having some issues here from top esports in closing out the game. It looked like a really good play from the start of this. The teleport coming in nice and... oh, not the teleport even. Knight just roams down. Manages to lock up Zoom, and you'd like to see Knight commit onto this maybe. They didn't have quite the damage to finish him off, with Knight being scared of the teleport and having to back away. Pops the Zhonya's anyway and then is caught in a bad spot, but it did keep him his life, I suppose, so maybe you call worth on that one rather than going for the 2-for-1 trade onto the Ornn. Now the Dragon being taken. Bullet time just cancelled early, but spreading out across the team. Zoom going onto the backline, just collapsed Jackie Love. Maybe some of that disengage not coming through. No lantern to reposition him. The fight going horribly for top esports. The hook coming through. Maybe they can look for something. Castle going into the backline to Zoom. Gets the kill, but will trade himself down. And that's a 1-for-3, all things done. Yagao picking up the enemy blue buff as well, and they might look towards Baron here. Still got the jungler of Kanavi up. The only thing they're missing is their tank, but probably won't be too bothered about that. See whether Knight and Kui can stop this. I wouldn't think so. It's going to be pretty free for JDG, bearing some heroics from Knight. And Knight's just going to the mid lane, just clearing out the wave. So it looks like they've conceded this. Kui maybe looking for the hero's deal, but not going to get there in time. Pretty hard to get that one away from them with the Thresh. You wouldn't see Death Sentence or Flay grab any of that, really. So the teleport coming in here, and they're just standing on top of it. Drops the lantern for the teleport to come through, but that means it can't be taken by Jackie Love, and a bit of an oversight here from top esports as the Ornn comes in, just runs down their AD carry, and they've already used the lantern so that someone can teleport in. So completely missing their objective of the fight in keeping Jackie Love safe so that they can fight back through once the key ultimates are down. And that's gotta feel bad for Jackie Love just being sold out so that they can get a teleport in there. Yeah, the Baron now over to JDG, and this gold lead is now completely gone for top esports. 3 dragons to JDG, and things are looking a little bit dire. Kanavi just looking round, pushing them off the tower. Should have to use the Ragnarok to escape here. Does, and Yagao also jumps back out after trading a little bit of damage. Not too long of a cooldown at this point, though, for Kanavi. They'll break the mid-tower, some of that standing gold going into their pockets, and you'll see the gold just kind of spiral out of control here. With the poke, the Baron minions not going to be able to defend too much with the top esports roster here, although they do have a lot of wave clear. It's all quite short range from the Lissandra. You have to hit the first section of that cube before it expands and gets the extra range on it. Has to land onto something, and it's yeah, really quite short before it lands onto a minion. So really going to struggle here with the poke coming out from the LeBlanc and the Olaf axes just flying through. Knight taking some poke over the wall, struggling to trade back onto Yagao. Yagao does have to be a little bit scared of the ultimate there from the Lissandra, and doesn't want to get locked up as he jumps over the wall. But see the super minions just tapping away at the tower here. And that's going to be the base broken here for JDG. They've held on to the early game just enough, and it's now looking in their favour. And looks like they're going to just back off here, spend some of that gold, because they've gained a lot here, going from about a 4,000 deficit to about a 3,000 lead, 2,500. And you can only think that it'll expand from here, things getting harder and harder for top esports. They have to be able to keep Jackie Love alive for the start of that fight until bullet time for Call of the Forge God and that Ragnarok are down. And that's a long time. If you're layering those and the rest of your team's melting in front, maybe Knight tries to buy enough time, but they have to have that lantern ready so Jackie Love can reposition, get himself safe in that fight, and things are just getting harder and harder for them. Loken picking up a lot of the gold, up to 3.5 items now. He's just going to be shredding in these team fights. And pretty hard to kill as well now with the cleanse, the QSS, and his upgraded Infinity Edge from Ornn. Just getting stronger. The gold advantage at 2k, but with the Ornn items coming in, you have to think it's a lot more than that in effective items. Yagao just looking onto 369 here. You wouldn't imagine he can kill him. Yagao holding on to his shield and just gonna step away from the wave there, not wanting to take that trade again, but not too worried about death at that half health point, with his damage all still waiting to come out if Yagao commits too hard. The teleport now coming in. Looks like they're going to collapse behind some of the top esports members. 369 teleporting in behind as well, so we've got a double flank going on here. Knights Banshees is up. They've picked up the Ocean Soul, and it just looks like top esports weren't ready to follow that up. 369 teleported in, but they couldn't get into the Dragon Pit in time. Looks like they've just missed the timer on this a bit. He does manage to escape with the lantern coming up there, but that should be an even bigger lead now for JDG and some real issues for top esports. Maybe they'll look towards some of that later game drafting in the next game. If they can't perform well enough in the early game, they definitely could have taken something just to kind of match the Olaf rather than going for a Lee Sin. You have to think there might have been some better options. Doesn't really win the early game hard enough here from Casa, and it could have taken something scaling, something to help Jackie Love survive and maybe carry them through these fights. It's looking really hard for them in this game. You've got to think they'll be looking towards the next one now. Baron has expired, but coming up again in the next minute or so. So they'll probably just wait for that on the side of JDG here, and thought Loken was going to take a bit of a scary look into the jungle here, but decides not to after popping the ward over the wall. Kanavi now throwing the axe into the bush. He is on the edge here, but he's got Zoom backing him up and decides he's not too scared. The Banshee's gone now from Knight. That's quite important for the fight. Call of the Forge God coming out, hitting two of that group there. Casa has to pop his Zonyas. Here the bullet time shredding these top esports members. Casa dies on the side. 369 not even in this fight. A good ultimate from Jackie Love getting damage out across the team, but it's just not enough as Kui dies here as well. The ultimate coming out from Yumi Mao just locking up Jackie Love, and he's going to drop as well. And this, you have to think, is the game. In 369 looking to try and pull anyone into the Nexus, but it's not going to happen. The shield coming out is definitely not enough at this point. Knight won't be able to save this one. Yagao, that's just the clone looking really low there as both the turrets drop. Ooh, bit of BM for Zoom trying to get in the heads of top esports as the Nexus drops for this first game. And yeah, looking a bit of a struggle, but hopefully we'll see them, top esports, change up a bit of the draft in their next game. Thank you for joining me here. We're going to go into a little break now, and we'll hope that top esports will have a little bit of an answer in their next game.